So we've seen now that we've got a spreadsheet that will help us plan a project and start to give us some idea of how we can target markets and prove it. Not just say we can target, but say why we're targeting the market, which is good reasoning. What I would like to do now is just sort of work out what profit we could get. Our profit is normally what margin would I like. So, for example, I want 50% profit on each cake that I sell. So if I'm selling a cake for, let's see, £1.57, I want around about 70 odd pence profit. So I'm going to have to sell that at a higher price, around about £2.20 per cake, which is not going to be a reasonable thing. So let's put in here that I want a profit margin of 50%. Okay, let me put the borders on, and I can now have a little row which is going to give me some idea of what I need to sell my cakes at. Now, this is straight from maths, percentages. You hate percentages. I can understand that. But try and follow along with the formula as we go. So if we want to find out what 50% increase on £1.57 is, then I need to have this formula. So I need to take the original price, and to that I'm going to add 50%. So this is going to be a little formula to find 50%. I'm going to have to use the formula again to find out what 50% of that is. Times that by, what have I done there? I forgot the time sign. There we go. I'm going to times that by this value as a percentage. So I need to divide this by 100 to make it 0.5. Okay, so it's the price plus a percentage of the price added on. So I need to choose this value, and I'm going to be dragging these right, so I need to fix that with the dollar signs and then divide that by 100 to get the percentage. So there we have it. So that is now the price I need to sell my cake at. If it costs me this much to make, and that's my sort of break-even point, if you think about it. So we've got break-even points. But if I sell it at £2.36, I'm going to make a 50% profit. So if I stretch that across, I can now see the difference in the values. Let me just use that format painter again to format all of that. So this is now saying it's giving me help to work out the price I need to sell my cakes at. So for example, if I want to get a 50% profit but sell my cake at £1, I know that I am going to have to have 11 packets, 2 tubs of butter, 2 boxes of eggs. I'm going to be spending 4 hours in the kitchen cooking it all up and spending £20 hiring. But perhaps I can reduce my margins. In other words, I want less of a profit. So let's take it down to 10%. I only want to make 10% on each cake, and I want to sell a cake at £1. Well, that's bought just about all the cake well below £1. That means I would, at £1 and 2p, if they were willing to pay £1 and 2p, and I was willing to accept just 10% profit margin, I only need to have sort of 2 packets of 2 packets of cake mixture, and knowing that I'm also going to be wasting some butter, I'm going to be wasting some eggs, I'm only going to be paying £5 for cooking. So now that we've got a value here, so as a percentage. In fact, let's put that on there, margin, and put the percent symbol. What percentage I would like to make on my cakes. I can use this to help plan, work out break-even points and all sorts of things. So let's take a look at something which might be a little bit impossible. Let's take 110% as a final one. I want to make 110% profit. Okay, as you can see, so if it costs £1.57 sort of to make a cake, and I want to make 110%, so that is another £1.57 plus another 16p on top, that comes to £3.30 per cake. But there is no chance of me finding a value in here for £1. So how can this help? Let's imagine that during your market research, the maximum value that a student said they would pay for a cake is 50p. Is it possible? So if we have a margin at 0, can we make a cake for 50p? Well, the answer there is no, we can't. The cheapest one is what? 62. In fact, we could use the spreadsheet again to help us find out, rather than look along the line. Cheapest is if the min function of those numbers. Whoops. The cheapest is the smallest of those numbers. So the cheapest is 61p. So that is, if they want to pay 50p, we don't accept any profit whatsoever. We still can't manage it. What could we do to change that? Maybe if we increase the number of trays in the oven, so we get 3 trays in the oven at a time. Wow, 57p is still too much. Maybe if we can get 4 trays in the oven, still too much. Let's see, we would probably have to change the price of the butter down to £1. Still too much. Maybe we drop the rate for cooking down to £3. Yes, finally, we have a 45p cake, but absolutely no profit whatsoever. So we're not making any money, but we're charging 45p. So let's put profit up to 10%. Okay, so we can do it with these values. We've got 50p. So if we have a rate of £3 paying for our cooking, we can get 4 trays in the oven each time, and we reduce the cost of the butter to £1, then we can produce cakes for 50p and make a small 10% profit. Hopefully that's going to help you plan your project and show you how a spreadsheet can help. But it's a tough ask, particularly if you're not doing a cake sale. You're going to have to think of your project and how to work out your spreadsheet yourself. This is not a profit and loss account. It will help prove a break-even point. It certainly is a tool that you will need in your project. So this is for Unit 3 and for Unit 4 to help you out.